Hello everyone, my name is Howard Combs. This is my final project for graphical application design. I made a Sudoku puzzle. And for those of you that don't know, Sudoku is a game where you have a 9 by 9 grid. You can enter in numbers 1 through 9 and they cannot repeat themselves horizontally or vertically, and each 3 by 3 grid contains all the numbers 1 through 9. Now for my game I use Windows Forms, and as you can see initially when it loads up there are three options for the user: a new game, load game, and a quit game. New game button pops up and sets these three buttons to visible, and this label to select the difficulty. User can select easy, medium, or hard, and based on the difficulty they select, you'll see in a second it masks the cells and sets their background to this powder blue. It sets the value of each of these cells to null, and as I was going earlier, you can see we have numbers 2, 3, 8, 9, 5, 6, 1, 4, and that means the only number I could enter in here would be a 7. And then when I started this game on the easy difficulty, it started a timer down here that keeps track of the amount of seconds you played in the game. At any moment when you decide, I gotta do something else, or you don't want to play anymore, you can just click save game, and it'll save all the answers I have on this grid. So far only the 7. And then it sets the timer back to 0, lets me know that the game was saved, and then I can click load game to bring this back up, and as you can see it made the load game button visible, and now I have this option again of I give up, and if you click the I give up button, it displays all the answers, and then you can click the new game, and you can select the difficulty. As we can see, increased difficulty, more blank squares, hard, then the only other option I haven't talked about is quit, and that just exits out of the program. A quick overview of my code. For the data grid, I stored all the answers in a two-dimensional array. I read those answers into a data grid, and based on the difficulty that the user selects, I convert individual cells value to null and set the background to this powder blue, and I have cell validation where the user cannot enter in a value where the value is not equal to null. But for instance, I can enter in a 7 up here, and if the user enters a wrong answer, since numbers can't repeat themselves vertically or horizontally, I have a 3 down here. If I enter a 3 up here, it still keeps the same background, and I can go back and edit that cell. We'll just start off here, 7, 2. This would be a 6. Not a 6, okay. This would be actually a 9. This would be a 6, okay. And this is my code for my timer. Just to go over really quick, this Windows timer presents the time in a date, time, second format. So to get around that, I used integer, and then I just increment that integer every second. And when the user hits the save game, it sets the timer to 0, and I do that using this bool end time. By setting it to true, it'll stop the timer, and it'll set the timer at the bottom to 0. And when the user clicks save game, it keeps track of the time based on the current counter. It stops the timer. It makes the puzzle board data grid view invisible, and then the I give up button invisible, and then it tells the user that the game was saved. And it keeps track of all the users' entered entries in a two-dimensional integer array based off of what's on the data grid. And then it saves the timer in a separate file, and then it saves the two-dimensional integer array to a second file as a string. And then when it's loaded back up, we take the time from the string, from the text file, and we set that to the current time. And then we set the counter to the current time, and then we read the file that has all the answers. And if the answer is null, then we set the background to that powdered blue to represent an unanswered question. So we click the save game, load game. And then when you click I give up, it unmasks all these cells and shows you the answer. And well, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.